Welcome back to the Oracle Scroll. Today, we're going to talk about adventure. Hi, I'm Kevin Walder, your host for the Oracle Scroll. And we're continuing to work our way through this little deck that I've been playing with. And today's card is number 19, Adventure. Adventure. That can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. You've heard me talk before about turning our millstones into milestones. That's kind of what adventure is all about as well. Taking our challenges to another level and transforming them into an adventure. One of the best examples that I can think of presently occurred in one of our Chapter 2 meetings with our friend Lynn Madajong. And she described living in a rather remote area where power was sometimes knocked out for days at a time. And there were two ways to deal with that. There's one of being very frustrated and totally put out by the whole thing, or transform it into an adventure. And she described for us how she and her 4 children managed to work their way through this disruption without letting it get them down. It was an adventure. They each had their own jobs to contribute to. They each had their own skills to contribute, and they were learning as they went along. There were a lot of those adventures that became some of their most cherished memories of childhood. So that's how we're going to look at the challenges that this year of 2020 just keeps throwing at us. We keep having different and more, and oh my goodness, we have a pandemic. Right now here on the West Coast, we're having wildfires that are threatening many of us and threatening all of us with toxic smoke and debris that is floating in the air. So we all have a challenge that we are trying to overcome. So why not make it an adventure? Make it something that we are going to learn, something that we can then transfer on to other people, perhaps those who would look up to us, someone that we might be mentoring, a child or even an adult. We can actually begin to share some of the knowledge that we have gained. An adventure means that we are no longer looking at the situation as a challenge that cannot be overcome, as a roadblock, as something that is getting us down and taking away resources and being just generally disruptive in our lives. Yes, adventure requires us to change tack and move to a different solution series. But that is the beauty of adventure. It keeps our mind focused, and it keeps us focused on the solution rather than the problem. Aha! That's the secret right there. It's all a matter of focus. And if we focus only on the challenge, then that's all we're going to see is that wall before us that we can't seem to penetrate. We can't seem to get over that. Where if we focus on the adventure, we focus on the fact that, this is an opportunity to learn about this maybe forgotten skill. We have so many skills that are totally forgotten in this day and age because we've gotten so used to being technologically taken care of. And now, suddenly, if we're without power for days at a time, or if we're just totally disrupted in some other way, being able to transform that into an adventure is the secret to maintaining mental health. And it helps us as we learn how to deal with these things on a daily basis. So, let's make all of our challenges adventures. Wow, that sounds very simple, and it can be. a lot of times our mind will begin to devise ways to make it more complicated, but we don't need to. We can actually make it as simple as it truly is. So adventure that's something we really need in our lives. It's something that gets us moving. Now, the number on this card is number 19, which, if you were to extrapolate it out, is a number 1 in the numerological systems. So it's a beginning point. It's a starting point. It's time to reorganize. And rather than let those challenges, the things that just get in the way, and they're always going to be there, rather than let them rule the day, let's make it an adventure and find ways around, through, over, under, whatever it takes to get past the challenge at hand. So, what's going to be our next adventure? This could be a lot of fun if we only let it. Thank you once again for joining us for this episode of the Oracle Scroll. My books, Tarot for Lunch, Lessons from the Cards, and more recently, 22 Teachers, Healing Lessons from the Major Arcana, are both available on Amazon.com. Please check them out. They are very informative and helpful in learning and understanding the tarot. Also, please stop by kevinwalder.com, my website. You can book appointments for any of the services available at that spot. So stop by and take a look today. And most importantly, please subscribe by hitting the little red button down below, and also click the bell to make sure you don't ever miss an episode.